All right, let's get right into it. So, you've found that perfect property. You can see the vision, you know what it could be, but now for the big question. How are you actually going to pay for the renovation? We're going to break down how to fund your project because believe me, it's about way more than just finding the cash. It's about having a smart strategy that's going to build your wealth for years to come. And this right here is the heart of it all. The financing path you choose today can have these massive ripple effects down the line. I mean, if you get it right, you can totally supercharge your financial future. But get it wrong, you could be stuck with tax headaches and honestly, just missed opportunities for years. The stakes are really, really high, but hey, don't worry, we're gonna make this super clear for you. So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about the big funding dilemma every renovator faces. Then, we'll explore your four main financing options. We'll look at why the strategy is totally different for homeowners versus investors, see how this plays out in the real world, and then wrap it all up with a simple framework you can use immediately. Okay, so you've got the property, you can see the potential, but now you're facing that gap between the before photo and the amazing after you've gotten your ad. Well, that gap gets bridged by financial decisions. And this right here is where the real strategy kicks in. Here's a trap so many people fall into. They just hunt for the lowest interest rate or the option with zero fees, thinking, hey, I'm saving money. But what they don't see is the hidden cost. We're talking about lost tax benefits that could save them thousands a year, or tying up their cash so they can't buy their next property. The smartest move? It's almost never the most obvious one. All right, let's get into your options. I want you to think of this like a crossroads. There are basically four main paths you can take to fund your renovation, and each one leads to a very different destination. So let's explore where they all go. And here's a great little bird's eye view for you. You can see right away, a redraw is for quick cash on your own home. A construction loan, that's for the big structural jobs. Using your own money gives you total control. And refinancing, well, that's the pro move for investors. Now, let's dig into each one. First up, the redraw facility. This is probably the simplest one. It's basically you just taking back the extra money you've already paid on top of your minimum mortgage repayments. For a lot of people, this looks like the easiest and cheapest way to get their hands on that reno cash. And look, the pros are really tempting. It's fast, it's cheap, it's simple, and this is a huge but, for investors, there is a massive catch. If you redraw cash from your personal home loan to use on an investment property, you create what's called mixed purpose debt. This is an absolute nightmare for your accountant, and it can kill your tax deductions. So for your own home, great. For an investment, you gotta be so careful. Next up, the construction loan. Now, this is different. You don't just get a big lump sum of cash. Instead, it's a special loan where the bank actually pays your builder in stages. They call them progress payments, as they hit key milestones. Like when the foundation is done or the roof is on. The big win here is accountability. The bank literally checks the work before they hand over the next chunk of money, which keeps your builder honest and on track. Plus, you only pay interest on the money you've actually used. The trade-off? Yeah, there's more paperwork to get it set up and maybe some higher fees. But for a really big project, say over 100 grand, that structure is just invaluable. Option 3 is the one that feels the safest. Just using your own cash. No banks, no loan applications, no interest payments. You just pay for everything straight out of your savings. It feels responsible, it feels simple. And yeah, avoiding debt is great, but the strategic downside here can be absolutely huge, especially for an investor. Every dollar of your own cash that you sink into that renovation is a dollar you can't use for the deposit on your next investment property. This is what we call opportunity cost, and it's a killer. By playing it safe here, you could be giving up much bigger wins down the road. And that brings us to our fourth and final option, refinancing. This is where you actually restructure the loan that's already on the investment property to pull out some of the equity, the value you've built up, and then use that money for the renovation. It's all about unlocking the value that's already sitting right there in your asset. So yes, there are some fees involved, and you do have to go through a full loan application. So why on earth is this almost always the winning strategy for an investor? It's actually really simple. Because that new loan is tied directly to the investment property, every cent of interest is fully tax deductible. It keeps your finances clean, and it keeps your borrowing power free for the next deal. So, how do you put all these pieces together and choose? Well, it all boils down to one simple question. Are you renovating the house you live in, or are you renovating an investment property? Because trust me, your goal changes absolutely everything about this decision. And here it is, the big divide. If it's your own home, your goal is pretty straightforward. Get the cheapest money you can. A redraw or a simple loan top-up is usually perfect. But if you're an investor, the goal is totally different. It's about tax efficiency and setting yourself up for the next purchase. Your focus isn't just on this one reno, it's on your whole portfolio. And that, my friends, is why refinancing is king.
Look, this isn't just some abstract theory. The source material for this explainer shared a perfect real-world example of how this plays out, and it really hits home just how much this choice matters.
This is all about those investors who use their personal savings because it just feels safer. They finish the renovation, the place looks amazing, and they feel great. But the real cost, the one they can't see, is the opportunity they just sacrificed. The cash they spent could have been the deposit on another property. All that new equity they just created is now locked up, doing nothing. Their portfolio just stalled. The choice you make to fund this one project literally determines what's possible for you next. So, with all of that swimming around in your head, how do you actually make the right call? Let's boil all this down into a simple, actionable framework you can use right now. Here you go, plain and simple. Rule 1. If you're renovating an investment property, refinance that property to keep the loan clean and tax deductible. Rule 2. If it's your own home, go for the cheapest, easiest option, your redraw or a simple top-up. And Rule 3. If you're doing a huge structural job, think seriously about a construction loan for that built-in oversight and control. And just one final reminder, please always look beyond the headline interest rate. Don't forget to factor in things like refinancing fees, inspection costs, and most importantly, the massive long-term impact of taxes and that opportunity cost. These hidden numbers are often the ones that really decide whether you win or lose. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question. As you're weighing your options, redraw, construction loan, your own cash, or refinancing, I want you to ask yourself, are you just solving a short-term problem? Or are you making a strategic move that's going to set you up for long-term wealth? The right choice isn't just about finishing one project. It can be the difference between a single successful reno and building a truly life-changing property portfolio. If you want to get crystal clear on the absolute best path for your specific situation, I'd suggest you visit www.propertychat.ai. You can get expert guidance powered by decades of real-world experience to make sure your financing decision is the one that really moves you forward.